You know, sometimes, you got to call a girl. You got, something like that.
I don't remember my first step, but I remember the story about it. The one my mother used to love to tell about how after my first 3 steps ever in life, my brother ran past me, knocking me over. Coincidentally, it was an accident. He was excited about an episode of The Smurfs airing on TV. Still, this thought pulses in my head. Was this my first experience of being restricted from walking, and what does this mean towards the rest of my life? I walk frequently. Nature trails and state parks are a passionately selected pastime of mine, especially during the transitional seasons, spring and fall. These may be my favorite seasons because of how closely they replicate life in the context of being born and reaching death. I, Elise, once went through birth, took a first step, and now fear it, but I walk still. I walk even though in the back of my mind I know that today may be another day I might have to fend off a predator, and I'm still trying to figure out why I feel this way.
You know, sometimes, you got to call a girl. You got, something like that.
Wow, there's a beautiful girl. Let me see if I can go try to holler at her. Dang, excuse me, ma'am. Dang, she's not trying to have it. Let me ask her again. Maybe she didn't hear me. Excuse me, ma'am. Dang, she's still walking. Dang, what should I do now? Should I go up to her? Should I tap her? No, I can't tap her. Then she'll really think I'm a creep or something. Wait, should I go jump in front of her? No, fuck no. I really can't jump in front of her. Let's see. Come on, man. You gotta think, man. You got 3 seconds. Three, two, one. Oh, I just walked with her. So I started walking with her. Um, I asked her where she's going. No, actually, I didn't ask her where she's going. I told her my name. Like, hey, I'm Jamon. What's your name? And I asked her name. And so she told me like, uh, my name doesn't matter. I said, yes, it does. Everyone has a name. A name is you know what I'm saying? I start hitting her with some intelligent things. I start saying how your name is important. Like, I love my name. You should love your name too. I mean, I grew up representing the name on my last name. So I represents my family. So, she finally told me her name. Could have been a real name, could have been a fake name. So, I look past that, but then again, I still remembered. Show her that I remember, show her that I care, show her I at least care about her name, you know. So we get to a stoplight, a stop sign, you know. So it's a green light, going in one way. We're standing here. Um, so I asked her, what does she have going for herself? Before I asked her any, like, she's pretty, she's fine. I told her my name, and I asked her what does she have going for herself? Because I could care less about how good you look and how beautiful you are, and I mean all those things do matter, but it's like I want to know where your mind is first. So um, then I know her mind is racing right now. I know she's like, it's just another guy who's trying to get my attention. I might give him the wrong name. I might give him the wrong number. I'll entertain it because he's not going away. And shoot, plus he's kind of cute and he's tall. Let's see what else he has to offer. Maybe I can get some money out of him. But he is cute though. Don't look at his penis.
A time I remember where I rejected someone and they got mad was actually a gentleman working at a gas station. And he had made multiple advances at me before that I had kind of shrugged off and, smiled and politely ignored. Until one point where he said something to me um, that was just way out of line. And I told him that it had made me uncomfortable. He became very hostile. And ever since then, at that point, if I ever go to that gas station, he will literally ignore me until somebody else waits on me. Yeah, so he didn't take that rejection very well, but it was definitely creepy.
Countless times I have walked through the mall, and not once has someone said anything derogatory towards me. But just because it does not happen every time does not mean it's okay that it happens sometimes. I've had this endless conversation with many women, and it's baffling coming across those women who excuse the behavior of these predators by saying, "He's a man. What do you expect?" As if I should not expect to feel comfortable enough to walk without a man staring at my ass, and I should not expect to feel comfortable enough to walk without being asked for my number. It used to be that if a woman wanted to be courted, then she showed up to a function. And now it seems that any time a woman's body is in a public space, it's literally up for grabs. I've had women say, "Oh, you should be happy that it happens. It just goes to show how beautiful you are." Some women wish they get noticed. Right. So, with that logic, I should be happy that my existence is acknowledged by a Western idealization of what is beautiful? Does that imply that I should aspire to be catcalled?
Sometimes, you got to call a girl. You got, yo, something like that.
There's this video on YouTube called "Man Catcalls Women During Anti-Catcalling Report." And the male catcalling is convinced that this method will get him laid. His thought is repulsive. It implies that the female body is here for his amusement. I am not here to entertain the ego of any ill-guided man. That's what it must be, right? That this male was led astray. Even on camera, his catcalling is a failure, and I can't figure out why he is so convinced it works. The reporter, also a male, comments at the end, "Another day ruined." At the ripe age of 24, I've had multiple experiences with this type of unwanted attention, and it doesn't ruin my day anymore. It's an annoyance, like a fly in the room. Women are not playing hard to get when we say no. Almost every woman I know will go after what she wants, but there must be those who are still confused. The same women who make excuses for these vulgar men, in my opinion, are the same women who are waiting for Prince Charming to find her, as opposed to equally finding him.
I was at my old house on Mansfield, off Schoolcraft. It was the first block off Schoolcraft, and I was just running to the store to get some bread for dinner. It was dark outside, but it was only around 7 o'clock because my mom was okay with me walking by myself. I was wearing a black baggy jogging suit, and I had my hood on. And I was just walking short couple buildings to the corner. And when I got to the corner, there was a car that pulled up next to me. And I heard the window roll down and the guy go, "Excuse me." And I lived in a fairly okay block. I knew my neighbors. So I looked over and saw a car full of 3 men I didn't recognize. And the driver asked me if I had a boyfriend. I immediately said yes. And he asked me, "Well, do you want any friends?" And I was like, "Nah." And I stood there for a second. And he sat there for a second. And I took 2 steps to the curb. And he got the hint, laughed, and drove off. And I watched him drive up the street and around the corner before I crossed the street. And went into the store, got my bread, came out. And when I came out, I ran across the street in the oncoming traffic just so I would be sure that nobody would be able to stop. And crossed the street and briskly walked home.
One day, it was me and my friends. We were walking down the street. This happened after we had just got out of high school and whatnot. And I'm not the type to really catcall. It's not my thing. I'm a little bit more of a gentleman than that, but I mean, I'm still a nigga at the end of the day. But anyways, so we walking down the street. I'm with a couple of my friends, my boy Parrish and my boy Rez, and they see this girl walking by their house, and they get up and they're like, "Hey man, I'm about to holler at her," and I'm just like, "Oh, these niggas, man." And so they get up to go holler at her, and I'm thinking they about to go, spit some game at her, this, that, woo-de-woo. And these niggas go, "Hey, yo, bitch, what's good?" Hell no, "Hey, yo, bitch with the fat ass." I be like, bro, you can't say that shit. And he's like, "Hey, yo, bitch with the fat ass." And then she wouldn't respond, like she just kept walking, and she blew him off. And I started laughing, shit's funny. He got, shut down. I mean, of course, though. But anyways, that's besides the point. He got shut down, and then he's just like, "Man, well, fuck you anyway, then, bitch. You ugly anyway," and blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, wow. So, I mean, I don't think she deserved all that from beginning to end. But, yeah, I guess that's what happened.
Men will never get it. Even a male model whose half-naked body is on a billboard would not have to worry about someone stalking him and violating him. I think about how sacred the female body is and how the womb nurtures life until that life is strong enough to breathe. The woman was given the gift of receiving and nurturing life, yet the life she helps could have alternative, negative, and hurtful motives. It's troubling to think that the person I will one day give birth to could grow up in a society that has adopted a horrifying rape culture. That my child may become corrupted with a notion that men will be men, as if being a man excuses him from being a human. What would I do? What could I do to prevent him from thinking like my cousin? That bastard. He's sick in the head and needs therapy. What in the world would make someone think they could grab someone else? It took 3 times before they finally arrested him. He got out within 24 months on good behavior, but nothing about his behavior changed. It's not like prisons actually rehabilitate prisoners. The school-to-prison pipeline is real. Of course, there's not some underground pipeline leading students to prison, but it might as well exist. The prisons march these prisoners in, overpopulate the prisons, thus underfunding the so-called rehabilitating programs, and then declare the prisoners menaces to society. So yeah, my cousin's behavior did not improve. He did not change. As soon as he got out, my aunt overheard him talking on the phone saying, "She's a liar. The way she looked at me, I wouldn't have done it unless I already knew she wanted me." Only God knows specifically what he was talking about, but knowing that he truly thinks that a woman looking at him makes her want him is terrifying. I look at people every day. I can't even imagine having to purposely look away from a person in fear that looking at him or her would mean I sexually wanted them.
I was probably about, I want to say 11 years old, fresh out of like elementary school, like completely, innocent to the world. And I had to walk myself to school because my brother started high school. So I'm fresh in middle school, he's fresh in high school. And I wasn't used to walking by myself. So I was pretty, cautious about like things around me. And I was walking one time and how you can like look into an alleyway and kind of view like the actual alley itself between buildings, right? So I'm walking down the street, and this is when I lived in Southwest Detroit. I'm 11 years old again, and I just noticed there was this green truck like following me, like zipping up and down the street, and I'm like, okay, that's weird. But I never paid any attention to it. So I was like, okay, I'm trying to get to school. I'm trying to get to school. I woke up late this day, whatever. And I guess that's probably why I was targeted like that. But I noticed like through the alleyway there was this guy, and like he jumped out of his truck. He had no pants on. And he just flashed me straight up. I was 11 years old. It was my first time like seeing something like that. He didn't physically touch me or harm me, but that was emotionally and like mentally scarring, like for life. And I hadn't thought about it for a while until like my mom like brought it up. When I told her about it, I never told my dad because My dad is crazy. So when I told my mom about it, at first she kind of chuckled, like, ah, ha, ha, but then I guess she kind of thought about it, like, that's disgusting, that's perverse, like, that's a child. So we filed a police report and all that, but it was it was insane. It was disgusting.
Sometimes you got to call a girl. You got something like that.
All right, so one day, I'm out with a group of my friends. It's me and I think it was 4 of us total, and we're headed to this bar. And I was the only guy in the group, so they were walking a little bit ahead of me, and these guys were just shouting at her. And I usually let my friends handle that. They're pretty strong women, and unless somebody gets handsy, they got that. So this one guy reached out and he grabbed my friend by the elbow, and I almost lost it. They had to pull me off this dude. That's one thing I can't tolerate. Like, I don't agree with the catcalling at all, and I don't like street harassment at all. I think there's a time and a place for everything, and that there's a way to do everything, but you gotta keep your fucking hands to yourself, because you never know, this woman might think that you about to, snatch her up, do some crazy shit, because this guy's out there to do crazy shit. There's no reason to put your hands on a stranger.
How would you call a dog?
Same way.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good. Like, watch, let's see if we see a nice girl. How can you find a nice girl that I'm attracted to, dude? But
Dating.
yeah, dating.
Oh my God.
Even if it's far away, it's even better because they're not that scared. Sometimes you gotta have a little distance. I do a lot of sweethearts.
Okay.
Does that work?
I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah,
I've never done that. I've literally not once has that even occurred to me to do.
Wait a second. Are you reporting is that girls don't like this?
They don't like catcalling.
Gaddy, come on. We're just acknowledging that you did a good thing today getting up out of bed. Oh, sweetheart. Yo. She don't even know. She probably got headphones on.
I can't say men in general like that because it's not accurate. I want to be clear when I say this is not expected of all men, but it is. How are women supposed to know which guy walking past is the one who's going to push her down the alley, bank her head on the garbage bin, rip her panties, and force himself inside her, possibly leaving her pregnant? How do you prepare for a moment like that? It's heartbreaking, and it happens. Just the fact that it happens is wrong on so many levels. This girl I went to high school with, I won't say her name out of respect for the baby, but it happened. We weren't in college at this point, but she went to some out-of-state college. I'm not sure exactly where, but it wasn't a bad neighborhood. Not that we should expect rapes to only happen in bad neighborhoods, but it wasn't. So she was walking to class, and this is during the day. She takes this shortcut all the time, and she's walking past this area. It's not like an alley, but it doesn't go all the way through. But it's about like a 20-foot space between two buildings, and this guy yanks her down the space, and before she could even scream, he knocked her out cold. She woke up in pain all over and knew immediately what had happened. Her panties were missing. Her head was throbbing. She was dizzy and crying. She could barely walk. It took 20 minutes for someone to find her. The guy who found her just so happened to take that shortcut too. She got medical attention and visited a psychologist for a bit. After the second month of not getting her period, she freaked out and visited the doctor. Yes, she was pregnant by the rapist, and she's Catholic. Now her morals are all fucked up because she doesn't believe in abortion. But was this her responsibility? Should she have to raise a child that could look like the man who knocked her out and raped her? It's so sad that the child would become a constant reminder of her rape. And it's become expected of her to remain positive and see the child as a blessing. Women are expected to brush off beatings, Women expect rape even if it has never happened to them before. Why do women expect rape? Why do women need to be protected? Are we hunted? Are we an endangered species? Why are we viewed as property? If that's so, how much are we worth? Like I was saying before, women are not only being raped in shady neighborhoods. It happens all over. It happens in all countries. India has adopted a rape culture where if a woman is seen walking at night, then she's raped. It's crazy and it's true. There was that big headline about the bus gang rape in Delhi. Someone made a documentary about it called India's Daughter. 6 men gang raped a female student traveling home from the theater. She was with a male. The woman was mutilated. Her insides were ripped out by one of the men. In the documentary, one of the convicted rapists said, "A decent girl won't roam around at 9 o'clock at night." A girl is far more responsible for a rape than a boy. Housework and housekeeping is for girls, not roaming in discos and bars at night doing wrong things wearing wrong clothes. About 20% of girls are good. When being raped, she shouldn't fight back.
We wanted men, those men, to feel how it would feel like to be the target of whether it's words, it's looks, it's, someone walking after you.
Why do men catcall?
Girls don't really like guys on the street. I always try to talk to girls on the street, though. It's not something that works too much. They gotta try to make themselves seem better, and they'll curse, scream, whatever.
It's my point of view. If a girl comes out in public with tight leggings, and you can see something back there, I'm saying something.
Like if you're trying to like walk out and like not have guys try to track you, but try not to wear like tight clothes.
We don't want to be those guys.
It's my right as an American citizen to place whatever I want to say.
Not allowed to say anything, but you're allowed to look. Okay. First of all, here's what you're allowed to do in your head. Any fucking thing you want.
There's a very clear difference between catcalling, like hollering at someone, whistling at someone, being disrespectful, and coming up to someone because you think they're beautiful and telling them that you feel that way, right? So just a quick example, I was at Target like a few weeks ago looking at picture frames, and a man came up to me, super polite. He was like, "Hey, I don't normally do this." I don't believe him, he probably does it all the time. "I don't normally do this, but I just wanted to let you know you are beautiful," right? That was all he said, and he walked away. I mean, that was a nice way of telling me or commenting about the way I look. What's not nice is making the sucking noise or...
Sometimes, you got to call a girl. You got, something like that.
So I had an interview. I get to the interview. Nice looking lady sitting behind the counter. So I give her my name. She's like, "Oh, hey, LaCara, I've been expecting you." So I finally have my interview. Man named Andrew. Go home. About 2 hours later, they call me. "We need you to come back in. We have an immediate position. Can you start tomorrow?" Yes, of course I can start, Go back up there. Now, the lady who was sitting at the front desk the morning when I got there wasn't there. So another lady let me in. She did all my paperwork, got me squared off. I've been there about 20 minutes at this point. Now Brianne walks back in. That's the lady that was sitting at the front desk in the morning. She's like, "Oh, hey, LaCara, I've been looking for you. I'm glad you made it. I thought you weren't coming." And then she walks away. She goes to the lady that let me in like, "Damn, I'm mad I missed her coming."
My favorite catcall is when my son was about 3 years old. When my younger brother would see a girl come across the street or around the corner, he would tell my son to, go say something to her. So he'd run out the front door and be like, "Hey, yo, girl, come here. Hey, excuse me." I just thought that was so funny.
So growing up, I used to see a lot of men catcalling women, and the women would respond, so the guys would kind of say an insult, throw an insult at them, and I thought that was just a normal thing. But as I got older and I started, I guess, hanging around more women and seeing firsthand how they react to catcalling, I began to kind of realize that it's not normal. It's not something that makes women feel comfortable at all. Yeah, sometimes, in many cases, women won't even go to a certain area or a certain place because they know that they'll be catcalled and it'll make them feel uncomfortable. So it's a thin line between giving a woman a compliment and yelling at her based on her features. And catcalling is just, it's crossing the line. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of catcalling and what it's become. Giving a woman a compliment or saying she's pretty, fine, but yelling something based on her features and then getting angry when she doesn't respond is just not okay.
I'm tired, I'm hurt, and I'm sad. I was 13 years old when I walked in that gas station. All I wanted was a bag of Doritos. He, the cashier, wanted something different. It was weird. I was getting weird vibes. Every Sunday I would walk in and he would look at me all funny. I was young and I had never seen this gaze. I didn't know what to make of it. Each week I would ignore it, and then that day, as I was looking for the Doritos, he walked past me, pawed my ass, and when I turned to see what had just caressed me, it was him, tongue and dick out, and I was terrified.
It was a very warm spring day, and my best friend and I just got out of school. And we were looking for something to do, and I just wanted to look cute and walk around and be seen. Now, this is a time when I was really feeling out, really just growing into myself, and I liked getting the attention that I got from guys. So we stopped by her house, and I borrowed a pair of short shorts from her and a cute tank top that I proceed to tie up. And I take my hair down. And so we decide to go to our friend's house in the city, and we were in the burbs. So we take the bus and we take it to Woodward, and we get off and we take Woodward to our friend's place. And so as we're walking, I'm switching real hard. I'm just feeling myself. And so a guy pulls up next to us at a red light as we're walking. And so this car was just, it was a Murata. Me and my friends used to go crazy over those cars. And he's looking at me, he's licking his lips, and he's calling me. At the time, he's like, "Scoop." That's what they used to say, "Scoop." And I'm like, oh, I was really intrigued by him. And he was a lot older than me. And I told him that I was just 15, but he didn't care. He was around 19 or 20, I think. And I was just very happy. And I got that attention. That's what I wanted that attention. And, you know, I was flattered, you know, and it made me feel really pretty. It made me feel beautiful. But, you know, now that I'm 26, looking back on it, it was not cool. I was a little girl, you know, and as kids, they do things that they're not supposed to, and, you know, just want to mimic adults sometimes, and it was just weird that someone older, so much older, would want to still engage with me as I was younger. Nothing happened, you know. I gave him my number, but of course I never answer his phone calls or anything like that because my mom would kill me. And just gotta raise the kids better. Gotta raise them to know what's okay and what's not okay when it comes to violating or just invading other people's space.
You know, sometimes, you know, you got to call a girl. You got, yo, you know, something like that.